Here are my Springboks player ratings versus England. A really good win for the Springboks. Their first official test for the year. And their first test, I think, in like 7 or 8 months. Also, a few really big things happened before the game as well. No Ebenet pulled out right before the game. No Sia Khaleesi as well. Forced to bring in guys like Paul de Villiers and Ben Jason Dixon onto the bench. But those guys did really well. But before we do get into it, if you do enjoy the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe to help the channel grow. I really do appreciate all the support. I mean, the Springbok fans as well, you guys have been absolutely awesome. So thank you so much for all the support. And if you do agree with the comments or with the player ratings, let me know down below. And if you disagree, please let me know which ones you would change and what you would change it to. Don't just say you disagree. Let me know down below. Let's have a discussion about it. So let's get right into it. Starting off with Oxenchair. Unfortunately, had to leave the field after I think like 10 or 15 minutes, but he was really good while he was on the field, but I've gone for a 6 out of 10 just because we didn't see an 80-minute performance. If that little 20-minute cameo was for 80 minutes, it probably would have been a 9 or an 8 out of 10 because it was a really good cameo he made, but unfortunately off with a knee injury, and that could be another guy. Apparently it is a serious knee injury or a bad one, Rusty said after the game, so apparently he could be out for a while as well, and he is one of South Africa's most important players. But what does that do? That opens up an opportunity for another player as well. I thought some of the guys yesterday, like a Zachary Porton from the bench, was really good, and maybe it does open up another opportunity for another player as well, because hopefully we can have a full strength team for the greatest rivalry series, because in my opinion, I think we can win these Nations Championship games while trying players out, but the All Blacks rivalry series in South Africa has to be full strength every time, because that is really where it matters. That is a must-win tour, almost like a British and Irish Lions tour. It's probably at that level, if not better right now for these two teams playing. So Oxenchair 6 out of 10. Moving on to number 2, Malcolm Marx, 8.5 out of 10. I think he made 17 tackles yesterday, which for Malcolm Marx, the way he plays, the way he kind of roams around, looking for the steal, looking to fetch, looking to slow the opposition ball down, that is a lot of tackles for him. He definitely played a different kind of style yesterday. I thought he was really good at line-out time as well, playing the way we know he can play. He made some steals as well. This guy has really picked off where he left off last year. Last year's World Player of the Year, and he's looking near that already. Already one game in after a season in Japan. And I will have to say, the players that played in Japan the last few seasons are looking really good right now. The last few years they would come back, they wouldn't be at their best, but all the Japan-based players looked probably some of the better players on the field. So Malcolm Marx, an 8.5 out of 10. Really good to see that he is starting off the year where he left off last year. Moving on to number 3, Thomas du Toit. I've gone for an 8 out of 10. Of course, the biggest memory probably from Thomas du Toit, besides his try early on, has to be him getting run over by Ellis Genge. I think he will look to try get his revenge down the line. But that being said, a hard-working game from Thomas du Toit, one of the best props in the world right now. He is one of the best players in the world right now, not just props. The way he gets around the park, the work rate he does, him going to Bath was one of the best decisions for his rugby career, because since he's been there, he's become an even better player than he was at the Sharks. Now he is bringing that experience back to the Sharks. Hopefully he can bring the Sharks back to where they need to be with some of those youngsters he's surrounded by as well. So an 8 out of 10 for Thomas du Toit. In my opinion, a really good performance. He has really stepped up his game over the last few years. He used to offer a lot, but not as much as he offers now. He's good at ball carrying now. He's a really good player around the park. His work rate is excellent, and he scores tries for fun nowadays. So really good to see that from him, an 8 out of 10. Moving on to number 4, Pieter-Steph du Toit. I've gone for an 8 out of 10 as well, and it has to be said, I am rating these guys against the best performances or some of the average performances I've seen from them in the past. So I'm rating Pieter-Steph du Toit against Pieter-Steph du Toit we've seen at his best. So it's not Pieter-Steph du Toit versus Malcolm Marx in this kind of list. So that's why you will see some players that maybe you would think deserve a higher score not getting a higher score, because obviously Pieter-Steph du Toit at his best, we've seen that in the 2023 World Cup final. But still, an 8 out of 10 for Pieter-Steph du Toit. He is getting so much better with his ball skills, carrying with ball in hand, his athletic ability as well. He is looking fresh and ready to go, really good with his ball carrying, and he was all over the field yesterday. I mean, him going to Japan, I think as well, was one of the best decisions for his career. He hasn't played rugby, I think, besides the Barbarians game, since last year, October, and he's come out and he's looking like one of the most experienced, most informed players from the lot right now. So an 8 out of 10 for Pieter-Steph du Toit, a really good performance from one of the best Springbok players of all time. I've actually got a question now for the Springbok fans here. Pieter-Steph du Toit or Eben Etzebeth, who is higher in your personal all-time Springboks list? Who would you put there higher in your all-time list? Let me know down below. It's just a discussion. I'm just putting it out there as a question. Who would you have in your all-time Springbok list higher? Peter Steph Toy or Eben Etzebeth? Let me know. Number 5, Ruan Nortje. I've gone for a 7.5 out of 10. A typical Ruan Nortje performance. Good at line-out time, getting the hard work done, getting through the tackles, getting through the carries. Really hard work rate off the ball. One of those guys, you don't really see him much in a game, but when you see the stat sheet after the game, you realize this guy was absolutely everywhere. He goes to war every single game, and that's one of the things I absolutely love about him as a player. He probably is the number 1 choice lock right now for the Springboks, and he's just come out of nowhere. He's a leader in the team, one of the most experienced players now if you think of some of the younger guys as well. So a 7.5 out of 10 for Ruan Nortje, a really good performance from him. Moving on to number 6, making his official test debut for the Springboks, Paul de Villiers. I've gone for an 8 out of 10. Thrown into the team last minute to play against England and in a massive test match at Ellis Park, his first ever game for the Springboks. I thought he was excellent. Ball carrying was incredible. He was good over the ball. Got a few times he got pinged for a penalty, but that just comes with the kind of nature of these games. Nobody's going to be perfect. Nobody's going to not give penalties, especially with yellow cards as well. There's always yellow cards, but Paul de Villiers had a really good game yesterday for the Springboks. I thought he was excellent. I think between him and Cameron Hanekom, I would say that I thought Paul de Villiers was a little bit better yesterday, but those two guys, I fully expect them to play a lot more games for the Springboks. So Paul de Villiers, really good debut. Does he play again next week, even if Sia Khaleesi isn't injured? Possibly. I think he maybe does, because he really, honestly, he's one of those guys. He can come in right now and make a very good impact for the Springboks at this level. I do think Sia Khaleesi will be playing against the All Blacks for that greatest rivalry series, but I think right now, maybe play Paul de Villiers and Cameron Hanekom from now on. Just do it from now on. I mean, just especially for these next 2 games, do it. Give them that kind of momentum, give them that form, give them that experience as well. Moving on to number 7, Cameron Hanekom. I've gone for a 7.5 out of 10. I thought he was really good yesterday. Good work rate, good with his ball carries. He showed a lot of promise yesterday. Didn't maybe make as many incredible carries as he does for club, but this is an international level. It was his first game as well, and I'm pretty sure the England guys knew exactly who he was and what they made sure they need to stop this guy before he gets momentum, because this guy can be like a Jasper Wiese with ball in hand as well. So a 7.5 out of 10. I would absolutely love to see Paul de Villiers and Hanekom play again next week against Scotland. I think that would be really good. But let me know down below in the comments if you think that's a good idea from Rassie and the coaches. Number 8, Jasper Wiese. I've gone for an 8.5 out of 10. This guy just picked up where he left off as well. I mean, these guys from Japan are coming back, I'll say it again, and playing some incredible rugby. He was running through players. The one thing he will regret from the game, though, is getting run over by George Martin. But that's just what happens at international level. It is a bloodbath. It is a war zone. And George Martin is no slouch either. He will go back to the drawing board for that one. But that being said, his ball carrying was excellent. His skills are getting a lot better. He used to just be a one-dimensional player. But Jasper Wiese's actual skill set and kind of not playmaking, but ability to think with ball in hand has gotten a lot better over the last few years, and you can just see that guys like Tony Brown, the coaching staff, the whole development of the Springbok team is going in a really good direction, with going from that kind of one-dimensional style from 2019 and before that to now being able to play whatever's thrown at them in a game, be able to adapt to any condition, any environment, any game plan that's thrown their way as well. And I think Jasper Wiese is one of the key guys that does show that development as well. So 8.5 out of 10 for Jasper Wiese. Moving on to number 9, Grant Williams. I've gone for an 8.5 out of 10 as well. Could have been a 9.5 or a 9 out of 10 if those were tries he scored with those breakaways, if he got that interception and ended up scoring a try, if he scored a try there from that line-out break. That was an exceptional line-out break. I thought Grant Williams was awesome. Box kicks were spot on, controlled the game well, and him and Manie Lebok are building a really good 9-10 combination. I'll say it again, they've been playing together from the bench over the last few seasons for the Springboks, or whenever they do play together, they play extremely well together. They understand each other, they've got that kind of, they don't even have to communicate, they understand each other on a mental basis as well. So Grant Williams, 8.5 out of 10, and his partner in crime there in the number 10 jersey, Manie Lebok, I've gone for an 8 out of 10 there. So 8.5 for Grant Williams, 8 out of 10 for Manie Lebok. I thought Manie Lebok had a few things he can fix, maybe his accuracy with some of his high balls, but it is his first game back. He's been playing in Japan Division 2 where the pressure maybe isn't as much, but he still looked extremely good with ball in hand. He was pulling the strings extremely well. The quality of the passes from Manie Lebok are one of the things that makes him so special. The timing of his passes, the ability to just keep the ball rolling, keep the ball just keep going through the back line. He is one of those guys that just transforms the back line. line every single time he plays for the Springboks. So an 8 out of 10 for Manie Libbok. Maybe if the Springboks do build a lead, I would like to see him kick for the poles just to build his confidence, because he is one of those guys that when he is on it with the boot, he is very good. Of course, with the Springboks jersey, he's got a history of being poor from the boot kicking for poles. So I am glad Cheslin Kolbe did kick. But I've seen Manie Libbok's highlights this year from Japan. He's been very accurate with his boot. So hopefully he can get an opportunity to kind of show that in one of the games this year, maybe against Wales. But looking at some of the other guys here, number 11, Kurtley Orenser. I've gone for a 7 out of 10. Not his best performance, but he scored a good try. He still does that really hard work off the ball. He's got a very high work rate, very good under the high ball. Got very unlucky with that yellow card in my opinion, but definitely wasn't at Cheslin Kolbe's level. Bit of a quieter game from him, but still a solid performance as you expect from him. A very consistent player. So 7 out of 10 there. Moving on to the centres, Dale Lindy and Jesse Creel. I've gone for an 8 out of 10 for Dale Lindy. I've gone for a 7 out of 10 for Jesse Creel. These guys are the most experienced Springbok centre pairing of all time, and they played like it once again. You cannot break through that line. They know exactly what they're doing. These two guys know how to play their role, and they know how to make an impact on the game, probably more than most of the other guys in the world right now. These guys are exceptional. I thought Damien Delendi was maybe a little bit more busy, had a little bit more of a higher work rate than Jesse Creel. Sometimes the ball just doesn't come his way, so it does make sense, but they were still very solid together. So 8 out of 10 for Delendi and a 7 out of 10 for Jesse Creel. I think I saw that Damien Delendi got man of the match, so I thought it was going to be Damian Willemse, so maybe they got mixed up with which Damien it was, because I thought it was Damian Willemse, but still, Damien Delendi with a very good game. Moving on to number 14, Cheslin Kolbe, I've gone for a 9 out of 10. What a performance. Accurate off the tee. Of course, some of those kicks from the line are always going to be difficult, but he found his mojo from the tee later on. Really good with the sidestepping. This guy, I was saying to my partner who was watching the game with me, because we always watch the games together. She's actually British, but she's now a Springbok fan, so she knows all the players. But Cheslin Kolbe, when he was about to step that guy yesterday, when he was about to step Caden Murley on the line, I called it from way out. I said, he's about to absolutely destroy this guy. What did he do? He left him there on his hands and his knees. He had no idea what to do. And that's just what you expect from a guy like Cheslin Kolbe. An incredible player. This guy, I'd probably write down for me, is kind of surpassing Brian Abana on my all-time wing list. And I am the biggest Brian Abana fan ever. He is my favorite player of all time next to Farid Priya. So that just shows the kind of work that Cheslin Kolbe's getting through with the Springboks. He is a Springbok legend. He does everything. He's good under the high ball. He started off the game with a crunching tackle on Ben Earl, sidesteps to score tries. This guy honestly is unstoppable on his day, and I cannot wait to see this guy play against the All Blacks this year. It's going to be absolutely awesome. But that being said, number 15, Damian Willemse, my man of the match for this game. 9 out of 10 for Damian Willemse. He was absolutely awesome. 50th cap for him and Cheslin Kolbe, and I saw something which I actually do agree with. If Damian Willemse was to say now retire right now, even though he's still quite young and has a lot of years left, I think he will get 100 caps. You'd be saying, oh, he didn't quite reach his potential, but he still is one of the best players in the world. That's just how good he is. He still has room to improve while being the best player on the field, in my opinion. He was good under the high ball, really secure in his decision making as well. Very physical, good footwork, very incredible 50-22. He just, when he plays in the Springbok jersey, he just takes his game to a different level. He plays with a lot of passion, and you can see it there. So a really good performance from Damian Willemse. I fully expect him at this rate to be nominated for World Player of the Year this year. I think from the Southern Hemisphere, guys like Peter Steph Toy, Malcolm Marx, Max Jorgensen, Rob Valentini, Asafo Amua on his day as well, Artie Savia, Cam Roygaard, Cheslin Kolbe, and Damian Willemse. Those are the guys I think have a chance of being nominated for World Player of the Year against those guys from the Northern Hemisphere. So it's going to be very interesting to see what does happen there. Then we're talking about the bench. I do the bench as a complete bench, their kind of impact in the game as a whole, because I think the bench as a whole is its whole own unit compared to the starting lineup. Got for an 8 out of 10 there for the bench. I thought the bench did really well from the Springboks. I thought Gerard Steenkamp was solid when he came on. I would like to see guys like Ntutuko Mchunu get a chance as well, because he could make a big impact from the bench. Maybe he does now with Oxenchair being injured, with maybe Gerard Steenkamp starting. But still, I thought he was really good off the bench. I thought Ben Jason Dixon, even Rassie said, was awesome from the bench yesterday. He looked really big from the bench yesterday. We had a physical impact on the game. He physically imposed himself very well. Big tackles, big shots, big ball carrying as well. He was really good from the bench. I thought Kobus Reinach had a good impact as well. Jan Hendrik Wessels is one of my favorite players to watch, and he was awesome from the bench alongside a Marco van Staden as well. Big shout out to Zachary Porton as well, a young prop, but he looks ready for international rugby right now. He is big, he's playing physical, and he's got a very good skill set as well. So some really good performances there from the bench for the Springboks. An 8 out of 10 for the bench as a whole, maybe even higher, but I think an 8 out of 10 is a solid score for those guys from the bench. They didn't really need to even make a big impact, but they still did. So a really good performance there. And that is my player rating. So if you do agree, let me know down below in the comments. If you do disagree, let me know down in the comments and why you disagree as well. Thank you so much for all the support. If you do enjoy the content, hit the subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.